Dear God, when I stand at the beginning of a new day, bless me with a vision to see the best of things to come, wisdom to make good decisions, and most of all, faith that you know that you are walking with me at every step. Amen.
Amen.
Roll call.
Mr. Bryant?
Here.
Ms. Lees?
Here.
Mr. Beck?
Here.
Election of officers, president and vice president. I nominate Phil Beck to be president.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye. Thank you.
Vice president, I elect Ken Bryant to be vice president.
Second.
Roll call.
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
With reluctance. So with
Keep
that
us in
being said,
suspense.
I'm passing it over to Phil.
All right.
Congratulations, both of you.
Thank you. Thank you. Welcome, everyone. Happy New Year. Our next item is taking the oath of office. I see that Joel Deutsch. Thank you. Joel Deutsch is here, who is taking office for the Board of Zoning Appeals. And Jeff, will you be doing the swearing in?
Certainly can.
Okay. Great.
All right, sir. You want to raise your right hand? Repeat after
Just put your
me.
heel down for now.
I state your name.
I, Joel Deutsch,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly
that
swear
I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States of America
of the United States of America
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of Ohio,
of the State of Ohio,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
duties of member
the duties of a member
of the Board of Zoning Appeals
of the Board of Zoning
of
Appeals
Symmes Township, Hamilton County, Ohio,
of Symmes Township, Hamilton County, Ohio,
which I have been appointed.
which I have been appointed.
Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Great. Thank you, Joe. Do you mind if I shake your hand from there?
Yeah.
I'm
We got
disguising
everybody
questions
heard.
behind
We got
Phil Beck.
walking wounded.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Thank you. You've
Thank
done
you,
a great
Joel.
job so far.
Thank you for your service.
Did you get my pen?
And so we are awaiting Debbie Coughlin, so hopefully she can make it, and we can swear her in for the zoning commission later this meeting if she arrives.
Yeah, if not, we can get her at the zoning commission meeting.
Good night, Joel. Thank you.
Thank you.
Congrats. Okay, very good. Next item is approval of the agenda.
Second.
Under discussion, quick question for the board, if I may. We finally got organized for 2023 this past weekend, and I realize I'm going to be out of town for our April meeting, April 4th, and I was wondering if you all would entertain the option of pushing that meeting to April 11th. So the first Tuesday of April will be the second Tuesday.
I don't see any reason why not. Especially with that much advance notice. I'm okay with it.
That's fine.
You good with that? Okay. Joe, are you okay with the second Tuesday in April?
Yes.
You'll be, okay, good. Jeff, that probably presents a conflict for you,
Yeah,
I'm guessing. Okay,
That's, I know that I typically have another meeting that night, but that community sometimes changes their meetings as well, so as we
Okay.
get closer, we'll have a better.
okay.
Okay.
And Kim, does April 11th work for you that evening in lieu of the 4th? Okay. Sheriff and fire, would that work okay? Does that present an issue? Okay. Great. Good, thank you. With that, that is my only discussion, so I would just simply amend our existing motion to approve the agenda with the addition of shifting the April meeting from April 4th to April 11th.
Okay.
You want me to second?
Sure. Any other discussion? All right, roll call, please.
Mr. Beck,
Aye.
Mr. Bryant,
Aye.
Ms. Lees.
Aye.
Great, thank you, Board. I move approval of minutes, regular meeting December 6th, 2022, and special meeting minutes December 29th, 2022.
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Bryant,
Aye.
Ms. Lees,
Aye.
Mr. Beck.
Aye. And with that, move to fiscal officer's report.
Our checking account balance as of January 1st stands at $7,307,387.74. The HRA account contains $15,809.92. Our meter investment account balance is $8,239,986.60. That's the November balance. We haven't received December's report yet. Revenue to date, $12,337,230.76. Revenue budgeted, $12,428,795. Appropriations for 2022, $13,726,612.40. Expenditures to date, $10,661,613.85. Payments made in December totaled $489,455.61. Some of our major fund balances: general fund contains $2,849,109.20. The park levy stands at $501,667.70. The Rossi Park levy, $296,999.63. The police levy, $841,077.76. The fire levy, $697,219.67. The road levy, $304,559.54. Safety services levy, $3,533,388.28. ARP fund, $1,222,607.36. Tax increment financing fund, $2,967,857.76. The total in all funds is $15,304,893.92. As previously approved by the trustees, this week we will be moving $2 million from the general fund to the meter investment account.
Very good.
That's all I have.
Thank you, Joe. I make a motion to approve the fiscal officer's report.
Second?
Discussion? Roll call?
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
I just noticed we're now putting the agenda up on the monitor, so you want to make sure that I stay on track. Okay, good. I'm still on page 1.
I can't see that far.
Okay. We are now at presentations. The first of which is Brent Scott's retirement proclamation with 17 years of service. Brent, if you could come up front, please. And Bill, did you want to stand with Brent as well? So I'm going to have this awesome proclamation. I'm going to go ahead and read it. Symmes Township proclamation recognizing the public works career and contributions of retiring public works employee Brent Scott. Whereas Brent Scott, retiring service worker in the Public Works Department for Symmes Township, has served the township for the last 17 years and is well respected by fellow township employees, board members, and volunteers. And whereas his career began with Symmes Township in 2006 as a laborer and he continually took on new roles and responsibilities. And whereas during his tenure with the township, he has worked in the Parks Division to clean and maintain the parks, create gardens, preserve and cultivate calming areas for the residents to enjoy, and embrace his role as mayor of Hopewell Park. In the road division, making sure the residents of the township have safe traveling surfaces to get to their everyday destinations, and serving the township as a burial grounds custodian so that many of our residents can come back to visit their loved ones after they've passed on. And whereas not only has Brent initiated such initiative-taking measures to address the modern-day challenges of government, he, along with other employees of the township, have mentored and trained other employees of the township, striving to be proactive in all areas of effective administration and lead the way for welcoming anyone new into the township, as well as caring for their well-being. And now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the Symmes Township Board of Trustees, hereby recognize retiring employee Brent Scott for his legacy of service to the residents of Symmes Township, expressing their deepest appreciation for his dedication and commitment to the citizens of the township and the board, and extend to Brent and his family our best wishes for many years of happiness in the future. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the Symmes Township Board of Trustees, do hereby proclaim that Friday, January 6, 2023, be recognized as Brent Scott Day throughout Symmes Township and the surrounding communities. Duly adopted on this third day of January 2023 while in regular session. Phil Beck, Ken Bryant, Jody Leese. Congratulations. With a special cover here.
Congratulations.
And maybe even cooler than this nice proclamation, which I'll hand over. There's a protective bag. The only way, right?
I was going to say mayor.
Well, you can have Scott Boulevard. So whichever is more applicable that particular day. I kind of like that one, though.
You
Yeah.
need to put it on something
Well,
that swivels.
Right.
Well, your wife uses one side and you use the other, right?
Thank
Right.
you all.
Do we want to do a quick photo?
Sure.
Bill, do you want to come up?
You want this in there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Whatever you.
Go ahead.
You can hold up your proclamation and the sign.
I'll scoop this one.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Brent.
Yeah.
Good luck with the lake.
Thank you.
17 years, man.
Yes,
Thanks.
congratulations.
Good luck on
Hey,
your
did we
lake.
start at the
Good
same
luck on all your lakes.
Thank you.
we started at the same time?
We're going to need
Oh,
it.
17 years.
Yeah.
It's a hazardous place up here.
Yeah,
Did you take Minimar's place?
Joe's next.
hook line.
I did.
Okay.
He did.
This was Minimar, Kathy, and
Jody.
I think you when I started.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was shortly after.
Great.
See you guys, thank you.
Thank you, Brent. Congratulations.
Hey, Kim.
Yeah.
She's here.
Yeah.
Debbie.
If we could pause on our solar presentation, if that's okay. Debbie Coughlin has arrived. We'd like to go ahead and swear you in. If you want to come up to the podium.
I'd like to be other option.
Oh, shoot, I'm sorry. That was it. That's an easy mistake to make.
Well, you have to wear a
So we
mask
were
if you go
switching
over there.
back and forth.
Oh, really?
No.
I did not know.
Nobody's there.
Let's make a big deal now.
Okay,
Yeah. So-
I apologize.
Don't
So
do that.
Debbie Coughlin is kind enough to work with us on our zoning commission. So this is her swearing
We
in.
greatly appreciate it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Just repeat after me.
Repeat after me. You raise your right hand, repeat after me. I, Deborah Coughlin,
I, Deborah Coughlin,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of a member of the Zoning Commission
the duties of a member of the Zoning Commission
of Symmes Township, Hamilton
Symmes-
County, Ohio,
of Symmes Township, Hamilton County, Ohio,
to which I have been appointed.
to which I have been appointed.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, hold on, I'm gonna get you to
Okay,
just sign both of those. I'm gonna
Okay.
take it.
that's great, thank you.
Thank you. Sign.
Happy to do it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Congratulations. I'm going to have to shake your hand up here if you don't mind.
Everybody's
We're
heard.
walking
Not ambulatory.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
Thank you.
congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you for doing a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome to stay for the rest of our meeting,
No,
or,
I would like to be gone.
but you're not
You don't want
required.
to wait.
You're more than welcome to exit.
What do you do?
So, thank you for your patience. Our next item under presentation, Verigy, did I pronounce that correctly? Verigy, solar energy options for the Safety Service Center and geothermal for the Public Works Building. Yeah, welcome.
So you sure you want to leave?
If you want to stay, don't stay if you don't want to. It's going to be a long meeting.
First of all, I want to thank everyone for inviting us. We really appreciate it. Kim's been wonderful to work with. I'm Vince Carluca, worked for Verigy, actually just started in August. I have some roots there in the valley. Actually shared a spot with Chief. I used to be the director of HCC, and while Chief was working on one of his buildings, he actually rented some space off us. And Kim and I share the same board. I'm the chairman of the Little Miami River Chamber, Chamber of Commerce, and Kim and I are on that board together.
Good.
So got a little bit familiar of the area. I left education. John and I both, this is John Saxon, my partner. John and I both were superintendents and retired from education and got into this opportunity to provide for local governments and schools energy conservation. So today we're going to present to you about some options with solar, and then also talk a little bit about the geothermal. We're not completely done with that plan, but we can talk about it a little bit.
Great.
So we have some leaflets to give you with information about two options that we talked about with Kim on solar, and we're going to go through a PowerPoint.
Okay, terrific.
I'll give you my card too.
Okay.
Great meeting you. Thank you for your service. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vince. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
I know, I'm all excited. I love
Thank you,
that.
John.
Yeah, no, I've seen you
Yes,
several times.
Nice to meet
yes,
you.
yes. Thank you,
Thank
thank
you.
you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Joe Grassi.
Great to meet you.
Nice meeting you.
Here's your official records for everything.
Thank you.
Like,
Okay, so
Yeah.
Kim, I didn't bring my clicker.
Oh, that's fine.
You don't mind clicking for me? And I'm not sure how much time you want to spend with this slideshow tonight, so I'll send this to you, because I have the feeling you probably want to go
Yeah,
through it pretty
quick.
quickly. So I will send Kim this slideshow in a PDF so that you can share it with everyone. But I
And she
wanted to-
did, just so you know, she did already distribute, I'm not sure if it's the same presentation or
It's the
similar.
three, like, costs.
Okay.
What you guys gave me, I scanned and sent to
20
them.
20
They had
pages or
it
so?
received, so that
Okay.
they can at least
There's
look
two
at
of
it.
those in the packet.
Right.
Okay.
I didn't include the roof ones because we knew the roof's rather new and we didn't know about your warranty on the roof. So we thought we'd go with these two options, but if you really want us to go down the path of roof, we can do that also.
Got it.
This
Okay,
PowerPoint, no, you haven't seen yet.
okay.
okay,
Good.
thank you.
So this PowerPoint does share a little bit of information. It's kind of weird that I know you can see it back
Yeah,
behind me,
we're
but
looking
I'm
over
looking
you.
up there, looking at that you have to your back. So this is, anyway, I'll adjust. As Vince said, we've known each other probably about 9 years now. Both serving as school superintendents, and we were part of a program called the High School Leadership Institute. And that's how we got to know each other better and have known each other since. And I've been with the company now for about 4 years after serving as a superintendent for 10, and I'm just wrapping up 33 years in education. And this has been an interesting transition for me. One of the things that a lot of the market that we work in is the K-12 market, but we also do work with municipalities, cities, townships, and counties, and have quite a footprint across the United States. So on this particular slide, you can just get a little bit of an idea about some of the things that we do. Slide, go to the next one. These are our certifications and accreditations. We can go on. I think there's a total of 18 slides, so I want to keep moving. So this slide shows the Great Lakes region of the company that goes across the country, but the darker shaded regions are where our areas of focus are in each of those regions. So as you can see, we have done quite a few projects, optimized more than 1,000 buildings, have more than 500 employees, more than 30 here in Ohio, and have completed over 500 K-12 projects, a lot of them in southern Ohio and southeastern Ohio.
And I just want to add, when I was actually looking for a job, I had opportunities with many different companies like this. And I actually chose Verigy because of the nationwide opportunities. I'm working with Brown County right now with their water department, and Verigy flew a gentleman out of Arizona that's our water expert to come to Brown County to analyze their buildings and how we can help them. So that's what Verigy brings to the table. That's why I chose the company to go actually work with them, because they have experts in many different fields across the country.
So in our process, we've met with Kim several times now. We've been here, I think, 3 times to visit.
Bill's been involved.
And met with Bill as well, and talked a little bit about some of the needs that you have. We know that this is a wonderful community, a very thriving community, and you're progressive. And what we know and have learned through our conversations with Kim is that being eco-friendly is important to the board, and that is something that's been sort of a mandate to at least explore. And there's probably no better time to be looking into that than right now, most importantly because of the Inflation Reduction Act and some of the benefits that it will give to you and add to your buying power at this particular time. So that's what we're going to try to get into and share with you a little bit tonight. This slide sort of explains the process, where we are, and we have done these walks, we have visited, and we have had these conversations. And so now what we wanted to do is put a couple of proposals in front of you, and that's what's in the folder. And as Vince said, we've eliminated the one on the roof because we don't want to. We didn't feel like it was probably worth the risk of messing with the potential of damage to the roof and jeopardizing or compromising that warranty. So next slide. We're an energy services company, and as an ESCO, there are a lot of different ways that we provide our customers with more efficient buildings and facilities, more optimally operated, more comfortable, and more technologically advanced buildings so that we can provide savings. So solar is an important part of that. What you see here is what we call the Orchestrate Hub. And all these different services are a part of building integration and making these systems work together in harmony on a single platform. So it's very technologically advanced, and solar, again, is one of these components that can be a part of an Orchestrate system. So we'll go to the next one. So why solar? So right now, there are some particular reasons I think that are even more important that I probably can't overstate, but as you can see, there's little or no upfront investment. We can reduce energy costs, protect the district or the community, sorry about that, I missed that word there. The community against future rate increases and the escalation, which as we know right now is going extremely high, and it's hard to predict that given the situation we're in with energy right now. We can use the savings to fund other projects, and again, the big one right now is the leveraging of the use of the one-time Inflation Reduction Act funds. Environmentally, pretty simple. This is a visible sign of environmental stewardship to your community and to other communities in the area, which we know is very important to you. Next slide. So there are a couple different ways that these deals are structured: a direct purchase and a power purchase agreement. A lot of times schools in particular in communities will go with the power purchase agreement because there's no upfront money to them. But given the environment we're in right now with the Inflation Reduction Act, the direct purchase is actually the one we focused on in our conversations with Kim, and we want to share with you this evening. So I'll get more into that as we go along. Over time, you can see, if you look at the bar graph here on the left, without solar, again, these are just estimates of what the escalation would be like without a solar project. The black bars are the power purchase agreement, which you can see is pretty steady. But when you look at the direct purchase of a solar array, which is, again, what we're proposing to you tonight for your consideration, over time, that escalation is not only saved, but also the cost that's involved in the power purchase agreement. So that's why in the conversation we had with the size of the arrays we're talking about, we believe that direct purchase is probably the best option for you if you're considering moving forward with a solar project.
Can I ask a dumb question?
Sure.
About on the back. Why does the direct is the orange vertical bar? Is that the direct?
Yes, yes.
So why does that reduce over
So
time?
after 15 years, the solar array is paid for.
Okay,
So
I missed
the
that
power
part.
purchase agreement, they spread it out over 25, 30 years, again, depending on the power purchase agreement.
Okay.
But with the direct purchase.
That's 15 years.
Yeah, you've basically financed your array in the first 15, and then you're
Okay.
going to see that
I missed that part.
significant reduction. Okay?
Yeah, how long do solar panels last?
Well, that's a great question. Depends on who you ask. So I think that's something that's still being discussed out there in the industry. I'm hearing numbers as much as 25 to 30 years. But again, I would assume that varies by the manufacturer. So that's probably the best answer I can give you.
How about asking a different, I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
Asking a different way, what is a standard warranty on solar panels?
Well, one member of our team who isn't here this evening is our engineer, and his name's Adam Grubb, and Kim's met with Adam a couple times, and Bill. I think that the standard warranty is 10 years, but I would, again, as we get along, and if you have some interest in this, I would be happy to give you all those exact answers, but I think it's 10.
And is there a lot of maintenance on solar panels?
No.
No, okay.
No, there is not. Depending on what you want to do around that space, and we'll show you on these presentations in your packet here, the spaces that we've chosen, there's a couple different options, so we'll get into that. Kim, you want to go ahead with the next slide? I'm just about done. You can skip through that one. We've already covered that. Are we going backwards?
Actually going right now, correct?
That was good.
Okay. Huh?
Go back.
No. So again, here's another comparison of the two different methods. Again, both of these methods are able to be financed in a way that they are not counting against your township's indebtedness, which is an attractive option for schools, any community, and counties, townships, etc. Okay, so this is the Inflation Reduction Act information. Again, I'll try to keep moving quickly.
In your back on the left-hand side, it's right behind the one solar.
Okay, oh yeah.
There's a brochure on the Inflation Reduction Act.
Got
So
it.
these are just some high points again that I'll hit for you. First of all, the Inflation Reduction Act introduces the investment tax credit to entities and agencies that previously were not eligible for these tax credits. So as a public entity, you are now eligible for the investment tax credit, which is 30%. So basically 30% off the cost of the array is taken right off of the top. There are some adders that we'll talk about in a little bit here. That's really small and hard to see. It's definitely small and hard for me to see here. But can you go to the next slide, Kim, because I'll explain what this is showing. So basically, this is showing the different adders that Symmes Township may be eligible for. And in the proposal we're sharing with you tonight, we just went with a very conservative 30% investment tax credit, which is, again, 30% off the cost of the installation of the array. There are other adders, one of which that you probably would be eligible for if you act within the next fiscal year, I believe. is the domestic content adder. So it's another 10% reduction off the price of the array if you purchase American-made products. There are additional adders for being an energy community. If this was a coal mining community or a large percentage of the community derived its income from energy production, there would be another 10% adder for that. There's another 10% adder for a high poverty community as well, which again, those are not things that you're eligible for. But obviously, as you can see in this example, if there were a $10 million solar project, you would get a reduction of $4 million. So a $10 million project would only cost you $6 million. And by the way, we're not talking about $10 million solar projects here, so I don't want to scare you with those numbers. It's just I'm not a math guy, so we kept it nice and simple. Some more information in the Inflation Reduction Act and the amount of money that is going into this program from the federal government, obviously to incentivize communities, school districts, cities to invest in solar energy. This is an example of some of our projects. If you've been at the Indianapolis airport, that's our project. That's a huge solar array there. I think it's listed here. 25 megawatt solar array, and there's all different kinds of sizes here that we've done. So that's the work that we've done in solar as an energy services company. So there are two proposals in your packet there. I think the one on the left is the 68 kilowatt solar system, and then the one on the right, if I got my left and right correct. So again, did you want to say something?
No, that's all right.
Okay, so again, I want to go through this fairly quickly and give you an opportunity to ask some questions. If you look in the first one, you can see a picture of the system design. This is at the fire department, and you can see that field. I'm not sure what direction that is. To the north of the firehouse is where Adam has west. Okay, on the west side of the building, you can see the array there. That's a 68 kilowatt array, and if you look at I guess it's the two-sided fourth page, you see the details. And you can see the pricing. And again, as I mentioned, this is only showing the 30% investment tax credit, not the 10% adder for domestic products. So again, depending on the timing when you move forward, that may actually get better. But a conservative estimate would be that the upfront system is $342,000 with a $102,720 incentive, which is the 30% investment tax credit. So your net cost on that system would be $239,680. If you look at the next page, the orange represents the savings versus the baseline cost if you do not do a solar project. And as you can see, there's some nice savings to be accomplished there. But again, I'm not sure that the savings is the number one driver for whether or not an entity would want to do solar or not. I think there probably needs to be some other reasons, because there are other ways that energy and money can be saved. But obviously this is the most environmentally friendly idea that's being proposed right now. The cash flow analysis shows you in year 0, that's your initial cost. And then the first year shows the energy savings plus the investment tax credit amount, and then you can see each year you're avoiding, looks like between $4,000 and $8,000 a year in energy costs with the escalation. Okay, so that's the small one. And again, you saw the picture. On the next one, on your right, if you go to the fourth page again, you can see a little bit different idea with the system design. So again, we talked about the roof idea. It did not seem to be worth the risk of doing anything to compromise the roof, so we eliminated the roof altogether. We kept the array to the west of the firehouse in the field, and then we've added, as you can see, so if that's the west, that must be the north. A couple arrays there in that parking lot, and those would be canopies under which cars can park, cruisers can park, whatever vehicles you'd like to park there. We've talked about a few other ideas that maybe down the road you might be interested in. It's a little bit more expensive to put the canopies in because you have the cost of the steel and the engineering to build the structures up. So there's a little bit higher cost with that, but as you can see with this one, the upfront system pricing is $1,447,496. The incentive, again, only at the 30%, is $434,248.80. So your net cost, and that's just over $1 million.
You have
But
it in your document?
No.
No,
That's right.
it's in your,
No, I was looking for a chart that has been up here before.
it's in the bigger arrangement.
so with that option,
This is the 190 something, 190K.
Yeah, he's right on.
you can see the cash
That's the
flow
two
analysis
arrays
on
right there,
this
and
page
would
here.
be the parking lot array with the-
So you can see that
He was talking about the first.
Right.
it's about 3/4 over time. You're going to get about 75% back on your initial investment, but the cash flow is significantly higher using the canopy, and there's some added benefits to having the canopy. Again, depending on what you want to do with your service vehicles, there are some added benefits there to being able to keep weather off of it. Potentially at some point down the road, if you're ever into electric vehicles, you may be able to put some charging stations there as well, whether it's for your use here or for the community. Those are things that can happen under those canopies. And you can see, again, over time, you're looking at about twice the savings that you were going to get from the 68 kilowatt array.
And that kilowatt, that bigger package basically covers all electricity in the building about 95% of the days in Southwest Ohio. There will be some days, like the last 2 days, where you're not gonna get 100% coverage. But according to engineers, it'll be very close to 100% coverage for every day.
So what would the break-even point be, projecting out into the future, theoretically?
Well, for again, I think there's consideration of the value that it brings with the
Sure.
eco-friendly
Right.
proposal. So it does not break even cost-wise over the array, over the lifetime of this array. It is not a 100% return on your investment. But again, 30 to 40% off the cost of the array, you're going to get pretty close.
The electric use at the building is high. That's one of the reasons you guys looked at this when we talked to Kim. But it's not off the charts like we see in some schools, with 3 or 4 boilers running. That's where there's a lot of more savings than ones we're looking at.
Right.
I think that's the biggest difference, looking at just that the smaller building and the usage.
I guess I'm just wondering, I noticed the energy decreases slightly year after year after year. I'm assuming that's because the equipment degrades over time. I guess what I was wondering was, even at 25 years, if we have the entire system in place, but we find out, because we'll be able to track all these panels electronically. So you know which panels aren't
Right.
working the way we want, and we could replace onesie, twosie, and then continue to get more life out of it.
Right.
Potentially decades out of it.
Right.
I can just give you my personal experience. 8 years ago as a superintendent, I looked at solar, and it was a PPA, and at that time, the payback for that was very long range, even in a school. But one of the big reasons was the solar panels weren't efficient as they are now. The technology has changed so much
Yeah.
with the panels.
And won't
That's
they-
what I've learned with being with Heritage now. It's amazing the amount of difference. So, to your point, in
26 years. Yeah, it's off,
Nothing in-
1 year off the chart.
It'll be, yeah, the panels will, technology will,
Yeah.
they'll be
Right.
this big.
Replace one that has, as
Yeah.
the federal government's putting all this money in, panels, and there's a lot more engineering going on with the panels. There's gonna be a lot more investment in companies building the panels also. So prices will drop too, not right now,
Yeah.
unfortunately. but they will in the future.
Demand is still very high right now, too.
I guess what my point is, we wouldn't be starting from scratch in
No.
year 26 if we continue with the system. We'd just simply be replacing parts of it that are degrading.
Right. Yes. That is correct.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Other questions? We do apologize if the engineer wasn't here, because normally he's here, it's just gonna make this meeting. If there's something that particular on that end, just either email us, you have our cards, get it to Kim, we can get it to the engineer, and get you more information about it, stuff like that.
Mhm.
Okay.
Good. You've given us a lot to read and digest, and
It's a lot.
we'll circle back with our fiscal officer and Kim, and yeah,
Okay.
And just
this is very helpful.
the last piece on the geothermal in the building,
Oh, right.
you know, that does fall underneath
Oh, yeah.
the Inflation Reduction Act also.
Okay.
So that geothermal is definitely part of that 30%, probably definitely 40%. You know, that can definitely be sourced in America. We are currently, one of the hangers is Bill had a building that a particular company that he wants to look at for a particular building. So we're working with those folks, and we haven't gotten pricing back from the building company yet.
That has to be done in this fiscal year. When is that fiscal year end? July?
That is.
For the Inflation Reduction Act,
Yes.
for the domestic product. Well, the fiscal year does end in July, the 1st of July.
So-
But that's in the first year of the program, and I think the language in the Inflation Reduction Act says that it's done in fiscal '24.
Okay.
So I think if I said 23 earlier, I think you have some time still.
But the total money allocated for the IRA is 500 million or something, and it's going to be distributed up front. So there may not be much left.
No,
Okay.
it's basically like a tax return. So you do a project, and then at the conclusion of the project, you file your report that the project is complete, and you will get your tax return. So you'll
Okay,
get your
is there a
refund.
commitment, is there a commitment to that refund before you pull the trigger on the project?
That's a great question. It's not a guess, it's not a grant, it's not an application. You file, and again, I believe that it's 100 days after the completion of the project. So project is complete, do a walkthrough, do a punch list, job's done. You file the paperwork with the federal government, and you will get your check. That's my understanding.
I think what he's concerned about is that, you know, we put out all this money to do this project,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden, it's December, and we submit the receipt, and there's no money left.
Right.
I think that's what I'm
Again,
hearing.
it's
Part of it.
It's not a grant, it's already law. So the Inflation Reduction Act is already passed. It is, so it's,
But
with-
if everybody else is using it
But,
like us, takes
yeah.
advantage of it, and there's, all of a sudden,
What-
there's
I'm-
no more money left.
A ground-ready project is going to get the money sooner than anybody lags.
that's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm coming from. And if
Right.
we're not ready to pull the trigger and go on it, we could be out there hanging in the breeze for 30%.
Well, possibly for the 10% if that has an expiration date for that adder for the domestic product, but not for the 30%.
Okay.
Again, the legislation is passed.
Thank you for
You're
clearing
not
that
going
up.
to be,
Okay.
I don't think there's any way you're going to be dangling in the breeze for the entire 40%.
Would-
But that 10% adder is timely, and that's why I want to make sure
What-
I have the right
What
information.
percentage of the total capital outlay up front is labor and installation?
I don't have that figure.
I don't think it's good.
This is our cost.
Okay, so there's installation. I saw up there was a 10% perhaps available for, what is prevailing wage?
That's correct. That's
Okay,
the
I'd like to
production
know how
tax
much
credit.
10% is worth versus how much it costs us paying prevailing wage to get the job done. Well, no, I mean, you get a
It's a-
bonus for using prevailing wage, which we're constrained to do, okay?
Right.
But I'd like to know if that 10% is going to pay for the extra labor costs,
Okay.
okay?
It's a fair question. Again, that's the production tax credit that you're speaking to, and that is correct. Again, that is all part of the same legislation. So, again, if you're interested in continuing to have a conversation and look at this proposal, I want to make sure I've answered all your questions, so.
Okay.
Pass
That's
this
fair.
through to us
Right now,
and
I
we'll get
have a
that.
bunch
Okay?
Quick question, Jeff, are you versed up on the Inflation Reduction Act?
I am not,
Okay,
but I will be.
okay. Okay.
Okay, might forward you an email.
We might not ask you to waste your money.
Okay,
Jeff, or
Waste your
some
time.
contact stuff I can get as well.
okay.
Yeah, that was very
Thank
interesting.
you.
Thank you very,
so
very
much.
much.
Yes,
No, I
thank you
appreciate
for
you
coming.
for coming in and talking with us about it. Do you, we talked about this geothermal and so on. Are there separate proposals that are coming to Kim on this regard?
Yep.
Okay. We just don't have them yet? Is that the message? Okay, all
It's
right.
with the
waiting.
building company's Morton. That's the particular one that Bill wanted us to look at first. And they were really busy, which is a good thing, I
Yeah.
guess, but we're definitely in communication with them, and then we're getting pricing on the geothermal, and that we'll have that proposal for you guys.
Okay.
We'll obviously sit down with Kim first. If you want us to come back and present to you guys, we'll do the exact same thing, however you guys make the call.
Okay,
Thank
Great.
you so much.
thank you, Vince, thank you,
Very
John.
good information.
Thanks.
Okay, that concludes our presentations for this evening. We have no public hearings. So I move approval of disbursements warrants number 82264 to 82391 and vouchers 322 to 391 totaling $489,455.61.
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Beck,
Aye.
Mr. Bryant,
Aye.
Ms. Lees.
Aye.
Reports. Law Director?
Thank you. No report tonight.
Okay. Police?
Unless you guys have any questions, I don't have anything tonight.
We got your report.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Fire?
Thank you, Board. You have my written report that
Yes.
wasn't able to make it to the packet in time.
Yes, thank
And
you.
also you have a copy of the agenda for the emergency tabletop.
Yes.
In 2 weeks at the
Yes.
Safety Center. It's based around the water treatment plant that resides in Symmes Township, but is a utility of the city of Loveland, so it would be a joint.
Oh, Betty Ray, yeah, that
Yeah,
is in
Betty
Sims.
Ray
That
Drive.
is,
Yeah,
that
so-
is in Sims.
Yes. So we just go down Betty Ray?
No, we'll be at the Safety Center like we were last time in Loveland, at the
Oh, okay.
Communication Center, right. So
Okay.
we'll be there, and it'll be pretty much, it's a learning exercise, it'll be pretty much like the last time. We
Got
had the exercise, the emergency operations manager, she's going to be there to facilitate like she was last time and go through everything and just bring everybody up to speed on any changes that have been made, which are very minor changes that have been made, but it should be quick, about a 2-hour meeting.
This is the EOP.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are we
You
to,
you should have all received a copy of the EOP on a thumb drive, but
Yes.
you can bring it with you, you won't need it. But she's going to go through all of that.
good.
Just to make sure I have the most recent one, it was on like a 4 gigabyte little hard drive on a lanyard?
Yes.
Okay.
That's
And that was last updated a couple of years ago?
No, we just updated it this last year on 22.
Right.
So
I'd like to make
you
sure
might
I
have been,
have-
you might have been off.
Looks like that.
I have that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's up to date.
I have that.
It really hasn't changed since Presidential Declaration 5 went in with President Bush. Everything changed to what's called an emergency support function, and the emergency support functions have pretty much stayed the same. It's just more or less getting the board refreshed on the process. So should we have an emergency where you would have to declare an emergency in our community, which we have had here
Yes,
in
we
Symmes
have.
Township, one of our highest risks is natural disaster emergencies.
Yeah.
So we just want to bring the trustees back up to snuff on how that process would work. Mainly what we would have to have done as far as legislation, how the fiscal officer would function in processing payments, and that's so that we could get reimbursed from the federal government. And that's the secret to all of this. We have to follow the federal government's guidelines to get reimbursed. And that's really important. Especially it can be very important because it can be very costly. think last time we were lucky, the feds let us get by on a couple things that we didn't have contracts for, and they reimbursed when we had the tornado.
Okay,
In
99.
99, when we had the tornado.
I was thinking maybe Ike or something after that with big windstorm.
Yeah, we've had some minors, but the big one was,
Okay,
the
yes.
big one was the 99 tornado where we actually got significant reimbursement into the township. So it's important that we have those things in place and that we play by those rules.
Yeah. That predates two of us, I think, 99.
99?
Yeah, Jody may have been here, but my recollection is
I
that
was.
the trustees were darn near meeting every day.
Yeah, oh yes, it was. And then,
Yes.
And we were cleaning.
it was,
Yeah.
We helped
it was
clean
very
up.
significant.
They
and,
sent us out there.
And like I said, just following, following all the NIMS requirements on that is important, and so we just want to bring everybody back up to snuff on that. We try to do that about every 5 years. Now, we as a department, as a township, we participate in emergency operations plans every year.
Yep.
Last year, we actually, 2 of our deputy chiefs ran the one in Indian Hill. So we participate in those often to keep our folks up to speed. And we participate in a program with the Hamilton County EMA. It's called Web EOC. So we have credentials, and you will have credentials to those as well. Credentials to log into Web EOC. So what happens is in the township, as an example, you say, I need 15 dump trucks. Bill needs 15 dump trucks to move something. Then we use Web EOC to send that information through the computer to the county. The county gets that in the logistics section and says, Symmes Township needs 15 dump trucks, Loveland needs 5, Blue Ash needs 17, and then they go to the EMAC, which is at the state, and say, we need these. So the EMAC then sends all that information out to all the public works directors in the state of Ohio and says, Hamilton County needs 25, 35, 45 pickup trucks and 15 backhoes. Who's going? And then that goes, and that contract is already in place so that we can get that reimbursement. So that when those 15 trucks come here from Deerfield Township or Hamilton Township or Clear Creek Township, that contract is already in place so that the Symmes Township is not on the hook for that. It will be reimbursed directly through EMAC through the state. So it's just bringing everybody, all the elected officials up to snuff on how that process works.
Great.
If you remember, you had to pass a emergency ordinance that allowed Kim during COVID to spend money with, up to a certain level. And those are the kind of things you would do because we need to have immediate access to funds that we might need to at 3 o'clock in the morning as far as committing to them, that the board just can't get out of bed and run in here every 15 minutes and approve expenditures. So that's the kind of process that we'll be going through.
Good, good.
Okay?
So
Thank you.
January 14th, we meet at Lebanon Road.
Yeah, Lebanon Road.
Okay.
And like I
And
said,
do you want us to fill this out?
no,
showing
that's
up?
just
Or
to give you an
read through
idea
it?
of how the day will flow.
Got it. Okay. Very good. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Any other questions? No? Okay. Bill is gone. Kim, do you have anything for Public Works?
Not tonight.
Nope. Okay. Committees? Any committees? Nope. Other? Anything under other? Nope. All right. Thank you.
I have a question.
Okay.
When are the Christmas decorations coming down, or have they already at Symmes, at Mead Park?
Probably working on it right now.
Okay.
You know, I'll have to ask. Do you want us to leave them up?
It's-
so you
it's
know?
this week.
No, don't wait for me, because I had
Okay.
trouble getting over there before now, through the weather or otherwise.
Okay.
Well, if we leave them up for the 12 days of Christmas, that puts us at, what, January 5th? Or thereabouts?
I thought that was before Christmas, the 12 days, leading up to Christmas.
All right. Next is hearing from residents. Barbara? Welcome.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
My
Oh,
name is
yeah.
Barbara Wilson. I live at 7906 Clement Street, Camp Dennison, Ohio. And I just, I've had several residents ask me, and so I came in to see where we were on the Cannon area, where things stood as far as title change, et cetera.
I think we got some news. I think we're allowed to purchase. It's going to cost us 19,000?
I think it was was it 19? Yeah, yes, it was significantly more than anticipated.
Yeah.
So it has to be purchased.
Yes.
Okay.
So I think we discussed it, and we're going to put it on next month's agenda.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
And then things will possibly proceed from there.
Quick question, because I hadn't heard this yet, but is this for all the parcels that make up the pork chop?
Yes, it's two parcels,
Okay, and they together cost 19 grand?
yes.
So which two,
It's the appraisal.
when you say two parcels,
The appraisal.
is that,
The appraisal was for 19.
One's
On-
a skinny
It's-
piece like this, and the other one goes like this, and it
Yeah.
looks like this, but
Are they all-
Essentially the big
they're
triangle.
together, they're
All
two pieces
together,
together,
one.
so we're,
In between the roads?
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
in between the roads.
And then we're working on closing that road, right? You were talking.
Well, we
Mitch.
need to own the property first, and then, then
Yeah.
we can, I mean, I have broached the idea with Eric Beck, and he didn't say no. So I think that's something he would be willing to work with us on,
okay,
hopefully.
mine too.
It's a
My
nice-
question was, I'm sorry,
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say,
I'm used to talking.
last I heard that we didn't know, there was no one who owned this property, so who would we be paying 19,000 to?
That's the issue. We did the title exam, and the title exam came back and says that those two pieces are owned by two different entities, one of which doesn't exist anymore. And actually, when you review the title exam, we're not even sure that that entity ever had good title to the property in the first place. So the way you solve that problem, that kind of title problem, is essentially by filing an appropriation case, where the township says, we need to acquire this for a public purpose, for a memorial park. But the only way to do that is to have the property appraised, and then you deposit that money with the common pleas court. And then we have to name, you're essentially filing a lawsuit to clean up the
Titles.
and we have to name every entity that shows up on that title exam that may have an interest in the property over the life of it. Most of which, from our research, doesn't exist. They don't exist anymore. But we still have to deposit the funds with the court, and then any owner or anyone who shows up as an owner has the right to then petition the court to withdraw that money.
And how long do they have that right?
The statute does not provide any time limit on that. The theory is, we deposit the money with the court, and we have, the township has then paid for the property, and the title will then transfer to the township. Whether anybody ever comes back and withdraws that money, we don't know, and there's no time limit. That money could sit there for
20 years.
100.
yeah, and I'll tell you, and we can, if this is on the agenda next time, we can talk more about it, but I'll tell you, part of the issue with that is you deposit the money with the court, and then periodically the court actually charges you for holding the money.
Right.
And so it's,
So they could charge us for 20, 30, 40, 50 years.
the only thing, and I don't want to, there is nothing in the statute that provides a solution to the issue that we're facing. I mean, the way it typically works is you deposit the funds, the clerk sends the title over to the auditor and treasurer's office, it gets cleaned up, it gets put in the township's name, and then one of the owners submits a petition to the court and says, well, I was the owner of that property, I should get the money. I don't know who's going to do that on this case.
Right.
So I have a
Is this
question.
even worth doing?
Well, that's for the board to decide.
So
And what the board has, all I can tell you at this point is what the board has formerly decided is that, yes, it was a good idea to acquire the property, to assemble that property for this park.
Right.
But then we have to follow the process. And now that we're in the middle of that process, that's why, as I communicated with the board, I did not feel comfortable just filing the paperwork with the court once we found out that it was significantly more than we anticipated it would be. So I'm waiting for some direction. But that's really a threshold question that the board needs to think about. You could deposit $19,000, and I don't know that anybody's ever going to claim it. And there's no real process that I'm aware of in the statute that allows us, after some period of time, to then say, can we have the money back?
Well, can't we file and just try?
What you put the money on. The question really becomes one of if the court is going to charge fees to administer the money and so on, does that deplete it, that we have to keep making it up, or just what? Are we clear once we put the 19,000 up? Does it come out of the proceeds of the people who would go after it?
Oh, no, this is additional, it's called poundage.
Okay.
That's what the court calls it.
Yeah,
And it's additional funds that you have to pay in addition to that.
Like a tax?
Kind of, it's like, what we would deposit is like the principal.
Okay.
And as they hold it, I don't want to, this is not the accurate way to say it, but it's almost like they're charging us interest to hold that money. So they keep the principal and we have to keep paying in money until the case closes at least, and the funds have been dispersed.
That's open-ended.
So the case doesn't ever close. So once Symmes Township acquires the property, then can't they go back and ask for that money since they own the property?
No, because the purpose of the funds that we're depositing is to pay the owner, the current owner of the property, because essentially what you're doing, what the township is doing is using a form of eminent domain to take the property for a public purpose. And under the Ohio Constitution, the US Constitution, you can't take property unless you pay the owner the fair market value. The problem we have with this piece is that nobody can really figure out who the owner is. Hamilton County is actually listed as one of the owners. Maybe they'll take the money.
So there's
And
no
then
clear
maybe someone
title.
can talk to Hamilton
Close the
County
case.
and they'll donate it back to the township. I don't know.
So there's never clearing a title. I mean, it's like a
Who's cutting
property.
the grass? Who cuts the grass?
We do.
Symmes Township, I mean,
Yeah, we do.
We've been paying for it for years.
Yeah.
so,
Can we have the sheriff send it to sheriff's sale for back taxes?
They're not assessing taxes. Nobody's been paying taxes on they're not even sending out a tax bill from what we can see. So nobody's paying tax. Believe me, we thought about that. Let's just send it to a sheriff's sale because they're not paying taxes. They're not assessing taxes on the property.
So why aren't they assessing taxes?
Probably because they don't know who to send
They
the
don't know
tax
who to
bill.
send the bill to. Crazy.
Well, especially if it's listed under Hamilton County's name, they're not gonna send themselves a tax bill.
Yeah. It'd be nice if they were holding the money and it drew interest and the interest went against the fees or something.
Sure,
That would-
sure.
Yeah, but
I mean, the real,
Wow.
I don't want to bore people with,
It's not
to get
boring.
in the weeds here, but I'll tell you, the bizarre thing about this property is that
We thought we owned it.
some guy owned this property a long, long time ago, and he sold it to somebody. And then a few years later, he sold it again.
oh, the same guy?
Yeah,
Okay.
even though he didn't own it any longer. And so when
Did
you
he give
look,
deeds to these people?
I'm sorry?
Did he give deeds to both of the people? Deeds for the property?
Yeah, it would appear that way. But the second deed was probably invalid because he had already sold the property to someone else. So when you look at the title exam on this property, for example, one of the triangles is listed as being owned by the Hamilton County Memorial Association. That is an entity that nobody even knows what they are, who they are. They don't exist, never have existed. They use the county as their address. And we thought, well, maybe we can figure this out with the county. Actually, it doesn't matter because the guy who sold it to them had already sold it to someone else before. And so it's that prior party that probably had the actual title. So the issue generally is when you have something that's this messy, this is the solution, is you file something where we say we've identified, there's what we sometimes call orphaned parcels. Nobody seems to claim them or own them. And that's why I would have expected potentially a different appraised value for the property.
Yeah, and since,
But we can only work with the appraisal that we've received.
So
And
if,
it was.
Who did the appraisal?
Todd Augustine, the guy that did our appraisal on Weekly, I explained this whole messy situation to him, and he said it's still a parcel that is in the community and valued by the community, so it has a
It has some
certain
intrinsic
value.
value.
yeah.
So we need a new appraiser.
so
No,
since, and also since Symmes Township, as it was said, has been maintaining it, don't they get, it's not eminent domain,
no,
then
we did
What's
it.
the term, yeah?
it's not.
Right
yeah.
of use or something like that?
So I understand the
Ocean.
appraisal, I
been
understand that,
Ocean.
Oh,
Adverse
possession.
okay.
Adverse possession, you have to be, I mean, you
It's
have to have been
23
doing it for
years.
21 years, I think, is the.
Don't we have squatters' rights?
So I understand the appraisal, I understand the eminent domain version.
Squatters.
So, and then, so we put the appraisal money, the 19,000, it's essentially kind of an escrow with the court,
Yeah.
waiting for someone to collect it. So when we're in court anyways, can we make the case that we're not going to hear from anybody? We're just giving you a heads up.
That is absolutely
And
what
can we
will try to do.
agree as a group to some statute of limitations? You know, if nobody claims this in 5 years, we can take this back, or we can put it back into the park, or something like that.
Better yet, and again, it's a little bit of speculation. Better yet is that we name all of these entities that seem to have some interest and that nobody even files a response. If no one files an answer,
Yeah, we send them all certified, something or other.
Certified in letters or
Yeah,
posting
right.
it for 30 days.
Right,
we'll have to do that because
yeah.
and I feel like I need to say this too, since, I mean, this will not be fast. You know, generally speaking, you file a complaint, you have it sent by certified mail, they have 28 days to answer. If they don't answer, you file a motion for default judgment. We're not going to be able to do that because we know we're going to have to do this, some of this by publication, so we'll have to post it, we'll put it in the paper, we'll have to wait a certain amount of time. But I can tell you absolutely the argument we will make to the court, if it goes this direction, is that, as you can see, no one has even filed an answer to this. There is nobody to claim this money. It doesn't make sense for us to, it really doesn't even make sense for us to deposit the funds in the first place. But what we have is sort of a statute that says, here's how you have to do it. And then, how do I say this?
We need
Common sense.
Yeah, reasonable.
Right.
And
Reasonableness.
all these have to go through the Court of Common Pleas? Okay.
So if we put this on our agenda for next month and say that we decide to do it, can we be ready to go like in February, like the lawsuit and getting everything organized?
Yeah, I mean, the complaint, I think everything is
Okay.
drafted, ready to go. We were waiting on the appraisal, and when we got the appraisal, I suggested that we take a breath and see if this is what the board wanted, how you wanted to proceed.
Okay.
So we'll probably have to, I'll probably have to update some things now that it's 2023. You know, but it's essentially done and ready to go.
Okay.
Can I backtrack a bit to the original reason we became involved in this? If my recollection is correct, the community wanted improvements to that site. The township could not spend money improving a site the township did not own. Well, it seems to me that we could sit here for the next 30 years dickering over who owns the thing, even if you put the money down.
No.
So we're still in the same boat in that we can't spend money on it because we still don't have title to it.
We will have title to it, but the money will be deposited for any, because we're taking it technically by eminent domain, correct?
Yeah, I mean, yes, the court will sign an order that grants title to the township. And then it's up to whoever wants to make a claim on the money to make a claim on the money.
So they will do that
Yes.
more quickly. I mean, not waiting 10, 20 years.
Oh, right, oh, yeah. No,
Okay,
soon
that's
as-
right. What I thought was.
No, I'm sorry. We'll file the case. We'll have to go through all of the advertising, newspaper notices. Once all the appropriate time passes, we can still file a motion for default judgment and say, because I expect no one is going to file an answer. We'll still move for default judgment, but when it's granted, and I anticipate it would be granted, we would have to then deposit the money. We'll get the order that says we now have title to the property, and then that money would sit there until someone makes a claim. Typically, when there is an actual other party on the other side, they are immediately, as soon as the entry goes on, they file a petition for the funds, and we say, sure, it's all yours.
And there's no time limit for that? There's not like within so much time, or we can ask the judge for a waiver to not have to?
Well, if nobody shows up and if no one responds and answers, we will, of course, request that the court give us some consideration about whether the money should be deposited or how long it would have to sit there. But the statute doesn't really contemplate this kind of situation.
Anybody have a can opener? Opened up a can of worms.
Oh, yeah, we're about to.
So stepwise, so first sounds like we need to appropriate the 19,000 to move forward
Yeah,
with
we
this.
Yeah, I defer to Kim on all of that. I can tell you that the legal steps to file it, you've already done that. You've already adopted a resolution of intent to acquire the property, and you've already adopted the second resolution authorizing the law director to file the suit. We just didn't file the suit once we found out that the dollar amount was significantly different. So really, other than appropriating the money, all I need from the legal standpoint, all I need is the board to give me the thumbs up and say go ahead or don't.
And that go-ahead would be to
To the-
reach out to the property owners
No, it would
with
be
the
to
certified
file
letter?
suit. It would just
Okay,
be
we
to
file
file
a suit, but at what point do we send the certified letters?
That's what the court does. When we
Oh, the
file,
court does that.
Yeah, we file suit
Got
and
it.
then the court
Okay.
will serve whoever we list in the complaint by certified mail.
Okay.
They're all going to come back undeliverable,
Okay.
that we expect. And then we'll have to go through the part where we then advertise. And then once that's done, we file an affidavit with the court that says we've advertised it for this long, we've done this in the newspaper, and still nobody has responded.
So we could get through this process this calendar year?
I would hope so, yes.
We've been maintaining this area, right? By
Correct.
at least mowing the grass for so many years.
Yeah, buying the
Can't-
carrots, trees.
Because we don't have any adjoining property, we can't really call that a boundary dispute where you've taken care of it for 25 years and, I mean, is there
Okay,
anything
so-
in there?
So the concept of what's called adverse possession
Okay,
is when you say we have openly treated this property as if it were ours for the requisite number of years.
right.
But what people often don't understand about adverse possession is that you still have to file suit with the court and prove that you meet all of the elements of adverse possession to
Okay.
acquire.
There's 5 conditions.
Yeah.
Okay.
They spell ocean, but I don't remember what they are. I know O is ownership.
Another question out of left field is if we don't like the appraised value by one appraiser, can we try another appraiser? Is that legal?
Can't you do 3 appraisals and take the,
Can you
just like
take
you would do a
the
bid?
cheapest one, no matter which one comes in as the cheapest?
I'll have to look at that. I don't know the answer to that off the top of my head.
I mean, if the property were appraised and taxes being generated on it, then we would have an appraised value that may very well be a lot less than $19,000. The problem is, no tax bill has been generated.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Okay, like when did that sign, when did the sign, Symmes Township put up the sign and the flagpole? Because I know Bill Pittman was talking about the flagpole and that they put it up there. I mean, so those are times that the benches, all of those
Yeah.
things that are there. Okay,
We'll get it worked out.
okay.
Thank
Do you need
you.
me here next month?
I
I
beg
don't
pardon?
think we need you next month, but if you want to come,
That's,
if you want.
Or we can email you updates or whatever you
it's an open
prefer.
meeting every month.
That's right. We appreciate your
Hang out with you.
attendance.
Okay, so, and then as
You're
of
like
next
a-
month, then something is going to be voted on as far as,
The
okay.
money.
I suspect that we're going to get some direction from the board one way or the other. And if nothing else, it's appropriating the funds and then
Filing the suit.
telling me what you want me to do.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Barbara. All right, no other residents? Correspondence is attached.
Let's stay, go.
I mean, we have to do a resolution, right?
Yes.
Right?
I don't think so. You're welcome to stay.
Yeah, more than welcome.
Oh, okay.
Have a good day.
Events and meetings. Board of Zoning Appeals, Monday, January 9th, 2023, 7 PM at the Administration Building. Loveland Symmes Fire Department tabletop exercise, which we discussed earlier, Saturday, January 14th, 2023, from 8:30 a.m. to 12 noon at the Loveland, it says
Yeah.
Waterworks, but it's actually at the Loveland Safety Service.
That's what I was going to question.
Number 3, Martin Luther King holiday. Building will be closed Monday, January 16th, 2023. Board of Zoning Appeals meeting Monday, February 6th, 2023 at 7 PM at the Administration Building. The next regular trustee meeting, February 7th, 2023 at 7 PM here at the Administration Building. No old business, so moving into new business. First item, discussion concerning creating a committee for the bicentennial for 2024 and how or if we should celebrate the bicentennial. Who'd like to kick off?
Well, I would, if we're going to put together a committee, I would like to be on it.
Okay. Do you guys, I mean, is that what you guys want to do? Do you want to put forth money to celebrate the event? And if so, like, how big of a committee do you want to create? Do you want me to come back with some names at the next meeting, or do you guys want to put forth names?
I guess we don't need to put forth money until we know
Yeah.
what we want to do, right?
Right.
Why don't we survey surrounding communities and ask how they celebrated? I know Westchester has a big one coming up and so on.
Yeah, most
That's
people-
grandiose.
We've already
but-
talked about
Yeah,
doing
I've talked to
that.
many different
Okay.
townships, and they usually have some big musical festival, like for a day or a weekend,
Okay.
or however we want to do it.
Okay,
Didn't
then you have
someone
to
just
think
say
of
like a country
venue.
festival? Like,
Yeah.
wasn't that?
You'd also have to think of a venue. What are you going to do at Home of the Brave Park? Or
Well, that's what I would think, is
Okay.
that's the only park that's big enough to handle something like that.
Okay,
And then you just,
okay.
you use Symmes Park to supplement it, but, you know, do you want to have musical venues that come in? Do you want to have other activities?
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
and
So,
then be thinking in your mind, like, how, you know, this
If-
is not going to be a small amount of money. I mean, you're going to have to expend
Yes.
quite a bit of funds to get musical venues to come in.
Okay. So if we're going to have a committee, I think we ought to pick how many is going to be on that committee. What's a reasonable number? 7? 5?
Five, yeah.
You don't want to get too many, because then you're going to have people
Well,
going.
the idea would
Yeah.
be diversity, right? So,
Yeah, I mean, we could put something out, I can have Luann put something out in the e-newsletter.
what about some survey in the newsletter?
Yeah, that's what I
Hey,
mean.
we're
I can-
considering having a bicentennial celebration for the township in 2024. Does anybody have any ideas? Anybody interested in being on a committee? We're in the formative stages, and we'll keep you posted.
Okay.
Something like that.
Are you guys okay with that, if I do that?
I think that's a
All
good
right.
idea. We could reiterate that with our HOA distribution.
Okay.
Yes? I think a lot of people will be surprised that we're going to have a bicentennial.
I mean, could this, just hearing this discussion, could this be like what we used to do for our summer festival? Could
Yeah.
something similar? Yes,
Something way
before
cooler.
Kim.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know what you guys
Way
did.
cooler.
You got to pick a time of the year that you want to have it, and all those are
Maybe
details.
we could get CC to help
Flesh out.
us plan it.
Yeah.
And at that time, we would get the fire department involved because we could leverage their ability for the liquor license. Is that right? Because
Yeah.
they had the beer tent.
Yeah, you gotta
Yeah.
use a nonprofit.
Yeah. Yeah. So it must have been what's their group called? The fire.
Fire
Association.
association.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Great.
Okay.
Next item. Before I make a motion, we are interested in scheduling a special meeting to discuss projects for 2023.
Yep,
So do we want to pick the date and then I'll make the motion?
sure.
Is that okay? All right.
Are we doing this month?
It would be most helpful.
Okay.
We could wait till December.
So we don't do any? I know I have stuff that I put in the budget, but a lot of times it changes after the first of the year, so I just wanna make sure I'm on the same page as you guys with what you want done.
I'm pretty open evenings.
Seventeenth, 19th, 24th? I don't know. What are you thinking?
17th Tuesday, 19th Thursday. I could do either.
Or
24th
Wednesday.
Tuesday.
17. 2 weeks.
I can do the 18th or 19th, Ken.
Uh,
I'll stay because it's,
Did you, so 17th, 18th, 19th?
18, 19.
Options?
18, 19.
I think she said Tuesday the 17th, Wednesday the 18th, or Thursday the 19th.
I'm saying 18th and 19th. X out the 17th.
You're saying X out
Yeah.
the 17th, okay,
it's what day?
18th or 19th is fine with me.
okay. I don't
I
have a
would prefer
preference.
the 18th, but I know it's yoga night.
Oh. You can skip yoga.
I won't be going.
Oh, that's right. We're both hurt. 18th.
I'm on the disability list.
January
Me
18th.
too.
18?
If that works for everybody, that would be great.
Okay, so I'll
What
make
day
that,
is
oh,
that?
what
It's a
time?
Wednesday.
The earlier the better.
6?
6? Is that okay, Ken?
Yep,
Okay.
Okay.
And it'll be here.
it'll be here. Okay.
Okay, I make a motion to schedule a special meeting on Wednesday, January 18th at 6 PM here in the Administration Building to discuss projects for 2023.
Second?
Roll call?
Mr. Bryan,
Aye.
Ms. Lees,
Aye.
Mr. Beck.
Aye. Thank you, Board. I move approval of Resolution G 2023-01, resolution appointing Jeff Forbes, Law Director pursuant to ORC Section 504.15 and dispensing with the second reading.
Second.
Discussion? Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah, how's it feel to be resolution number one?
Number one.
Well, hey,
Every year.
that's right. Kim,
Is it?
Kim takes care of that.
Oh, you have to change it around a little bit.
All right, roll call.
Ms. Lees,
Aye.
Mr. Beck,
Aye.
Mr. Bryan.
Aye.
I move, yes, thank you, Jeff. I move approval of Resolution G 2023-02, resolution authorizing the Township Administrator to purchase a new Ford Explorer and accessories from Lebanon Ford, Par Equipment, and Danco for the Police Department in the amount of $49,404.
Second?
Discussion?
That's for all three in one, I guess we'll get it delivered, fully equipped and lettered and so on, right?
Well, they deliver the car and then we have to send it, well, actually it'll go to the garage and then they have to order the inside equipment from Par Equipment because the 2016 Ford Explorer, the new ones they're not the same size. So we have to buy all new equipment for the inside.
Of course we do.
Yeah. So that's a lot of the expense because you just can't take it from one vehicle to the next. And then the Danco is the lettering. But Hamilton County takes care of doing all that. We just have to pay for the parts. And this year we only need one. We only have one car that's close to 100,000 miles. That's 6 years old.
Okay.
That's good.
And they'll put the new printer stands and all that kind of stuff in?
Yeah, so we'll have to approve that as a separate, I think I have that at the end.
Yes, I know it's at the end.
But yeah, Hamilton County is moving to in-car printers
Yeah.
so that as you're getting the ticket or whatever it is, they're just gonna print it out in the vehicle and they're just gonna hand it to you and you don't have to call and get the report or anything like that.
Okay. So we'll talk about that when we get there.
Okay. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Beck,
Aye.
Mr. Bryan,
Aye.
Ms. Lees.
Aye.
I move approval of Resolution G 2023-03, resolution approving an employment agreement with Mike Howell as custodian for the Camp Dennison Nature Trail.
Second.
Discussion.
It's a continuing effort, I guess.
Yep.
I mean, the stipend is listed in the resolution. We're okay with that.
We appreciate Mike's looking after our property. All right, roll call, please.
Mr. Bryan,
Aye.
Ms. Lees,
Aye.
Mr. Beck.
Aye. I move approval of Resolution G 2023-04, resolution approving expenditures in the amount of $45,300 for special events that will be held in the township and parks and dispensing with the second reading.
Second?
Discussion.
We had to increase a lot of the amounts this year because we can't, expenses have gone up exponentially, so.
Does it really cost, I guess, if I think about it, for the candy and the bags and everything for Operation Santa? I was surprised at the number.
Well, some of that too is just Christmas in general, like what we do with decorating some of the mead stuff. And
Okay,
then,
all right.
so it
That
also
helps-
includes
that.
that.
That helps me understand why
Yeah.
it's jumped so much in the last couple
But
of
the
years.
candy has gone, the cost of the candy has gone up.
Oh, I'm sure.
The games have gone up. I know like for the Memorial Day thing, the stage has doubled in price.
No, I'm not talking about I was just talking about the Operation Santa, because it used to be we just couple costumes and so on and so forth.
Well, that's also gone up too.
I know,
Cost
and
of
then I
cup.
forget about all the goodie bags and all
Yeah.
the candy and everything. So, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
How much does it cost to rent the stage?
It used to be $400 and I think it's now almost $1,000.
Wonder how much it would cost to buy a stage?
I don't know.
Well,
We could look into it.
We should talk to Todd.
if you, yeah, spin that off and have your staff look at purchase versus rental.
Okay.
And how many different locations or places we can use that stage. I know we use it for Memorial Day service and things like that. We're always on the stage.
Right,
So.
right.
Yep. Okay, he has one?
I think they
Okay.
have one. A long time ago, he presented, he wanted us to buy it with the fire department.
Yeah, that was a big thing though. What I remember.
And we have funding set aside for yoga,
Yep.
but we also have a lot of this year already taken care of, so that could just be a buffer. Yeah, just in case we don't get the funding.
You don't have to spend all of it, right?
Correct.
You're just appropriating.
Right,
Yeah.
right. We have to
Yeah.
appropriate it first and then
Yep.
we get the reimbursement.
Got it. Okay,
We gotta show it on both ends.
all right. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Mr. Bryan?
Aye.
Right. I move approval of Resolution G 2023-05, resolution approving a one-year supplemental contract with the Loveland Symmes Fire Department for the Camp Dennison area in the amount of $6,000.
Second.
Discussion?
Yeah, it's just boilerplate. We've been doing it for years. It's the same amount.
Yep. Yeah, they've never asked to increase it, so.
All right. Roll call?
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Mr. Bryan?
Aye.
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
I move approval of Resolution G 2023-06, resolution approving expenditures for cleanup day, recycling, and hazardous waste collections in an amount not to exceed $19,420.
Second.
Discussion.
I just want to say these have become very popular.
Yes.
Yes.
And these costs have gone up exponentially as well.
The hazardous waste stuff is.
Yeah,
gone up.
it's very expensive, and the cleanup day last year, it was double probably what I had budgeted.
Do-
It took my whole budget line item.
This is not the kind of thing where we recoup a few bucks here or there like on our recycling, is it? This is just total outlay. Okay.
I think I noticed on the online calendar, we have one cleanup day for the
Yep,
year?
in May.
Okay. And then one hazardous waste collection day.
Yep.
And those are both in, I think, Home of the Brave Park? Does that sound
Yes,
right?
we moved it. It's a lot
Okay.
easier for us logistically to to kind of go around the circle.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess whatever bins we've been storing at the Safety Service Center, well, no?
Well,
Do we
they'll
have to
go over there
relocate
for their
those?
events.
Yeah.
But that is something separate that we're doing
Oh,
with
that's-
Loveland Sustainability and the
Okay, so
Cincinnati
that's their bid.
Rehab.
Yeah.
What we do is we collect it there, and then we take it down. The probation department takes it down and distributes it where it should go at the rehab center. And actually, I'm surprised, that is becoming very big.
Yeah, I was gonna
People-
say, you've been able to fill the bins like
Yes, we
quite a
are.
bit.
And people are so appreciative, because the people that are really into recycling, they have to drive all the way downtown. There's no North Point out here, and we've become that. And so they're very appreciative, and it's a good thing for our community. So, yeah, I'm glad we're doing it.
I'm smiling because we drive downtown. Because once you set up a bin for all this stuff, your garage is full in 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah. And then we,
So you
once
end up
a
driving
month,
it
you just
downtown
need to
just to get
throw
rid
it
of it.
down there and then we drive it down and put it where it belongs.
Yeah.
It's a good
Okay.
thing for us to learn at the probation.
So are
department.
they gonna do the recycling in addition to what we show on our calendar?
Yeah, we do that the first Saturday of every month.
Okay, so that's gonna
The
continue.
Loveland Sustainability and the Cincinnati Rehab every month at the safety center. It's 10 to 12, right? 10 to 12. You can come and drop off your stuff, and then we take it down, and then, yeah.
Okay, is that on our
advertised
calendar?
in our newsletter?
It is. We have little flyers out in the parks.
Yeah,
We have a
I've seen the
sign
little signs at different locations.
Yeah, we've put it on Facebook, we've put it in our monthly newsletters.
Okay.
Okay, Kim's checking to make sure it's on our calendar. Good, any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Bryan?
Aye.
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye. Let me know when you find that, Kim.
Okay.
I move approval of Resolution G 2023-07, resolution requesting county auditor to make advance payment of taxes.
Second.
Discussion.
Boilerplate once again, where we need our money.
Okay.
Roll call?
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Mr. Bryan?
Aye.
I move approval of Resolution G 2023-08, resolution approving an agreement with Velicor to provide IT service and support for 9 workstations located in the Symmes fire stations in an amount not to exceed $5,292.00 for 2023.
Second.
Discussion. This is also continuation, right?
Yep, we do this every year.
Yeah.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Mr. Bryan?
Aye.
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
I move approval of Resolution G 2023-09, resolution authorizing the Township Director of Public Works to conduct the necessary sidewalk repairs throughout the township not to exceed $10,000.
Second.
Discussion.
It's boilerplate. It's, we kind of set aside money to fix uneven sidewalks and things like that throughout the township, and we set aside about the same amount of money every year.
Very good.
Okay.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Bryan?
Aye.
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye. I move approval Resolution G 2023-10, resolution authorizing the purchase of supplies for Symmes Township medic units from various vendors in the amount not to exceed 24,000.
Ooh, yeah.
Is it
Oops,
24
sorry.
or
It's
26?
26.
Okay, in the amount not to exceed $26,000.
Second.
Discussion. This is also
It's just a
standard?
drug restock.
Yes. For the ambulances. Good. Roll call, please.
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Bryan?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye. I move approval of Resolution G 2023-11, resolution authorizing the purchase of turnout gear and various other equipment from Honeywell in an amount not to exceed $50,000.
Second.
Discussion.
I think I ask this question every year. I'd like to know if this is being purchased through the Northeast Collaborative to save us money. And that's not here to answer the question. Can you answer it, Kim?
Yes, it is. He always makes sure that he collaborates with other jurisdictions.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Mr. Bryan?
Aye.
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
I move approval of Resolution G 2023-12, resolution authorizing the Township Administrator to purchase 2 light towers for the Service Department from United Rentals in an amount not to exceed $17,600.
Second.
Discussion.
So this will be 2 light towers that we will need and use, like, if we ever have an emergency at night, and then most likely, probably like for our special events. So that will reduce our need to borrow them from other jurisdictions. We're still gonna have to borrow some, but at least us puts it so that we don't always have to borrow everything from everybody. We can have some of our own.
And they can borrow from us,
Oh, and yeah, they could.
hypothetically, yeah.
And I like
Yep.
these are purchased from United Rentals, so these are
Used,
Yeah, they are
secondhand.
used.
they're
So
used
we
equipment.
Yep.
got a nice price. Good. All right. Roll call, please.
Mr. Bryan?
Aye.
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye. I move approval of Resolution G 2023-13, resolution authorizing the Township Administrator to enter into an agreement with Stiles and Sons LLC to install a drainage system at Mead Historic Preserve in the amount of $18,800.
Second.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
And this will take care of, I believe we had someone in here that was because of the drainage.
Yep.
problem.
Behind the
Okay.
restroom building.
All right, so it should take care
I
of
do
that.
have a question. We just signed a check for something along that line this week, but
Is that the
the
design?
agreement was with Stiles and Sons LLC, but the check was to be made out to some other company?
Is that Choice One who designed
No,
it?
not Choice One, because that was the engineering work.
Right.
I mean, we hired them to cut back some more honeysuckle. At the nature preserve down in Camp Dennison.
No.
That's the only thing that we've paid out, Stiles and Sons.
Stiles and Son.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you're going to enter into an agreement with them to install this drainage system, is what this says.
Yep.
But I remember that on the paperwork with that particular check, that it was being made out to somebody else, like for all the material or something, but it was a total amount, 18.8. Okay, we'll just double check it.
Okay, any other discussion?
No, this is freestanding, the approval of resolution for an agreement.
Right. Okay, roll call, please.
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Mr. Bryan?
Aye.
I move approval of Resolution G 2023-14, resolution rescinding Resolution G 2022-128, and approving revised pay adjustments for the township employees for fiscal year 2023.
Second.
Discussion.
Yes.
Yeah, I screwed up.
Okay, so the numbers weren't right.
Just on the two bottom ones. So it was
I
for Ray
missed
and
that?
Jeff. You did, you missed it. So I caught it when I went to enter it into the payroll system. The numbers weren't lining up, so then I had to go back to the old resolution, which I thought I had done, but I didn't. I don't know where those numbers came from.
Okay.
So anyway, they're corrected now on this new resolution, but it's for Jeff Weigel and Ray Williams. So their 2022 salary was $22.14 an hour, and now it'll be $23.25.
And that was the agreed upon increase percent?
Yeah, the
Okay,
yeah.
good enough.
Okay, thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Mr. Bryan?
Aye.
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
I move approval of the following expenditures and authorization for the township administrator to sign any necessary contracts or agreement or paperwork. A, expenditures $7,100 for printers for police vehicles, and B, amend the following line items. The general fund, line item 1000-110-111-0000, previously total $74,200, and for an increase of $2,116.
The 74.2 is what it'll end up being.
Okay.
Sorry, I should have explained that better.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll restate that. So a total $74,200, which is
Represents
an
an
increase of $2,116. And then the second line item from the general fund, line item 1000-110-121-0000, to a total of $33,800, which represents an increase of $1,639.
And these increases are because the general legislature approved pay raises for all of you. You no longer have to wait until you're reelected to get an increase. It is for all elected officials now.
Okay. All right.
So I had to amend the appropriations because I looked at that before I left on Friday, and then I had to postpone payroll because I couldn't do it at the end of the year because it would show up at the end of the year, and so I had to push it out. So when I did that, it's a good thing I looked, and so
Okay.
anyway, I did payroll this morning, and I had to increase everybody's,
Of the elected officials?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's only effective 2023, is that correct?
Yeah, effective for 2023,
Okay.
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
And then
go
I'll
ahead.
just have to wait until December to see what they do this coming year.
I'll second
Got
it.
it. Okay, Ken?
Okay. But-
Any further discussion?
Yes, I want to talk about the printers for the police vehicles.
Okay.
I looked at the breakdown, and there's armrests, there's holders, there's all these peripheral things. It isn't just the printers, okay? It's the setup for the printers in 9 different cruisers. Why don't we have, say, 3 printers that you can move from car to car, but all the other peripheral equipment stays?
They don't want to do it that way. I asked them. They want printers in every single car so that in case
Do we have to
whoever's-
put it in all 9? I mean, we're
Yeah.
contracted, we used to be contracted for 7 and we had a spare, Now, all of a sudden, we're at 9.
Yeah, we have 8 and then we have a spare, but people drive it. I mean, they all get driven because I get the mileage on every single car, like every time we do a bill.
Okay. But we'll delay on car 94 until we get the new one?
Yeah, that we won't buy, they're not ready to do this now anyway, they just want the approval to it.
Okay.
And it'll probably happen sometime this year.
Okay. All right. I had to ask my questions.
Yeah.
Valid question.
You already asked them.
I already asked
You already
it.
asked them. You anticipate me very well.
So this new Explorer that we're buying, is the interior cab smaller or larger? What's the difference that we have to buy new equipment for it?
That I don't know the answer. I would
think-
venture to guess that it's probably
I
smaller.
think it's smaller.
That's what I thought you were
Yeah.
going to say. So
They came up with a new chassis style.
we
Yeah.
should make sure that these printers fit the new
Oh, yeah,
Explorer.
they're actually gonna, I don't know how they're gonna do that because every car is different.
Well, I mean, if it fits a smaller one, it'll fit everything else.
True.
Yeah, that's what I was
True.
thinking.
Okay. That reminded me of a question when we passed resolution earlier to purchase that new cruiser. That is going to be a 2023 model?
Yes.
Okay. I know past year or two, we've been having trouble getting Ford Explorers because of the
They-
chip situation.
Yeah, they fixed all their, I forget what it was. There was a defect or something. And then, of course, they were waiting for chips. And then they've resolved all those issues.
Okay. All right. That's good to know.
Okay, any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye. That concludes new business. I move we go into executive session per ORC Section 121-22G1 to consider the compensation and employment of a public employee or official.
Second?
Roll call.
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
And will we have action after executive session?
Nope.
So